Everyone, it's Brenda Quintana here, and I am live this afternoon. I normally go live in the mornings because I'm definitely a morning person, but I had a meeting this morning and I wanted to share with you my thank you cards. I actually did these thank you cards for my customers way back in February, but I didn't get a chance to shoot a live video for them. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone got to see how to make these cards because there's a little trick to making them, and they're just really the note cards are really easy to make. And if you have to make a bunch of thank you cards, they are super fast to make. And then I also wanted to share a stepped up version of the cards because that's always great to be able to have both of those. So first of all, let me share the card. It's this little card right here, and it's just so much fun, and it's all spring-like. And then here is my stepped up version. Adds a little bit of cardstock, some ribbon, some punched shapes, so it really does add a little bit of oomph to the card. So the stamp sets that I'm using, the main stamp set is the Thoughtful Bloom stamp set, and this is a celebration choice that you can earn free with an order of at least $50. So for every $50 or $100 you spend, you get to choose a product. And this is a choice that's a level 1, so you can choose it free with a $50 purchase. The other stamp set I'm using is the Seriously the Best stamp set. Now, I love this stamp set because I love big chunky words. And so taking this stamp set and being able to stamp the other stamp set around it is a lot of fun. The other celebration choice I used on the larger card is the Small Blooms punch, and this is a level 2 celebration choice. So this one is free when you purchase at least $100. So you spend $100. If you spend $150, you can get both of them. And this punch should be available again down the road. So in the annual catalog. So this stamp set, the Thoughtful Bloom stamp set, if that was the only one that you could earn right now, I would earn this one so that down the road, if you didn't want to earn this one free right now, you could get it later on in the annual catalog, and it would match this stamp set. All right, if you have any questions along the way, please jump in and just ask them in the comments section below. And I'm going to be trying to come to you live more often this week so that if you're stuck at home, you have some tutorials to listen to, and you can chat with me while I'm doing the tutorial. If I get distracted by what I'm doing, I always come back at the end and make sure I read everyone's comments. All right, let me switch cameras. And here are my cards. I already shared them with you, so I'll just set those aside. We'll start off by making the note card. So you'll want to get some Whisper White note cards and envelopes. These are just a bit smaller than the regular size card. So they already come cut and they have a score mark on them, so you're ready to go to stamp right away, right out the gate. So the first thing I want to do is stamp my big thank you right in the middle. Actually, it's not a thank you, it's a big thanks. And I'm going to use Pretty Peacock ink, and I've mounted this stamp on an H block. So I'll just ink this up. And I'm going to eyeball this and stamp it right in the center of the card front. So here's the score line, keeping the card flat for now, and I'm just going to stamp right in the center like that. And then I'll set this aside for just a second and we'll grab the old olive ink. Now here is where the little trick comes in. So on the stamp set right here, we have this big image, and it's a bunch of leaves that you can add the blossoms to afterwards. Well, I wanted to have, this is what it looks like. I wanted to have this coming around here on either side. So I thought, let me cut off just a little piece of the stamp. So if you look at this stamp, it has 4 branches to it. And there's one branch that's the smallest that just has a stem, a leaf, and a little flourish. Well, that's the one I cut away from the rest of the stamp. So it's just that little piece. I hope you can see that right here. And I cut it away. I can still use the stamp together because I can bring it together and match up the lines, and it will be just as if it was all together. Or now I have a separate stamp right here that I can use, and it will save me so much time to be able to stamp around this without having to do like a marker technique or use a post-it note to mask off. So I've got my old olive ink pad right here, and I'm going to ink this up. And then I'm looking at the top of the T, and I'm going to aim that to the center of my stems. And that's how I kind of decide. And then I just rotate it around until all the stems are not touching any of the letters. So you've got that. And then I'll turn this down here, and I'll do the same thing for the bottom of the S. Just turn it so that they're not hitting any of the letters. So pretty easy so far, right? Just by taking out that one little piece of the stamp, it's just making that whole thing super, super easy. Then I've got this little tiny blossom, and I thought that would look nice and blushing bride, but you can choose whatever color you want. And then you just fill in the flowers everywhere where there's a stem that kind of dead ends. So you just go around, and I'm turning my card because it's easier for me to keep my hand in one position, and just turn the card around. And you know, honestly, they don't really have to be perfect. Just as long as you get them somewhere close to the stem, they will look good. And there you go. I have finished this note card. One thing I can still do is fold it along the score line, right? So we can do that. And there is the finished note card. And that took no time at all. And it just looks really cute and springy. And you know, you could stamp up a whole bunch of these really quickly. One little suggestion, if you have trouble, if you are like really picky and you want your thanks to be really dead center, you could put your thanks on the Stamparatus and get it positioned perfectly, and then just stamp all of your note cards first with a thanks. I did do that for the thanks just to get them all in the same spot. But then I free-handed all the leaves because they were really easy, and I had to stamp them twice. And so I would have had to position it twice, and I thought I can stamp that fairly easy and quickly, just like that. So that is how I did the note card. Now let me share with you how I did the slightly stepped up version. So I'll start again with a piece of Whisper White, and this piece measures 4 1/8 inches by 3 inches. Let me grab my pretty peacock. And I'm going to stamp this right in the center again. Just trying to find the center spot. That looks about right. And that right there. And we can get rid of pretty peacock. And hello to everyone who's joined me, Marion, Karen, and Cindy. Oh my goodness, Cindy's in Washington. That must be a really crazy place right now. And California is kind of getting crazy too, huh? Yeah, stay safe, Marianne says. I absolutely stay safe. It's great right now because we have a hobby that we can do indoors, right? And you know, we can really share right now this hobby with people. Like we can maybe not bring them into our hobby, but maybe we could stamp a card for them and send one to them, or drop a card off at a neighbor or something just to cheer them up. So now I've got my little branch again, and I'm going to come up in this top corner here, and I'm going to just position it so it's not touching the words at all. And then the bottom corner, and just find the proper placement. So then we'll bring in our Blushing Bride again and take our little stamp. Okay, and then we'll just add, oop, that blossom didn't stamp very well, so I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to hover it over again and do a better stamp job. See, that's the nice thing about these little photopolymer stamps. I messed up a little bit, and now I just went back over top very carefully, and I got the second part of the flower that didn't stamp properly. So I need to be careful. This is such a small stamp. I need to make sure I don't press too hard, but make sure I get all of those little blossoms as I go around. Just a few more to stamp. So basically I'm taking the note card front and just adding things to it. So that is the layer that I need. Oh, and you know what I'm going to do while I have Blushing Bride in hand? I'm going to take this larger blossom, and I have a scrap piece of this Blushing Bride cardstock right here, and I'm going to stamp this blossom twice in Blushing Bride. And then I'll take my, it's called my small bloom punch, and just punch these little guys out. I just put my hand on top so it didn't fly into my face. Have you ever punched a shape and have it like fly right into your face? It's kind of crazy. Okay, I think I'm gonna do it again. All right. So now we have two little flowers that we can use to embellish the front of my card. Okay, I need to put up my card here so I can put the sample out so I can actually see what I need to do next. So I've got a piece of pretty peacock cardstock, and let me just measure this up for a second and tell you how much it is. It is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And I love this new embossing folder we have. It's called Parisian Flourish. Parisian Flourish. And it's just so pretty. And I'm just going to stick this in my machine. I'm going to try and, well, let me see. I'm going to try and center it a little bit, because I really like, I did that on the original card, and I really kind of like how that turned out. It was nice and centered somehow, because it ended up having this flourish up here, this one and this one, which kind of went around the side of the card. So I've got my base platform on my Big Shot. I've got my embossing folder with the cardstock in it, and I'm using my blue plate to run this through, because this is a 3D embossing folder. And so I'm run that through. Squeak, squeak, squeak. So you can see, isn't that just gorgeous? So, so pretty. And very spring-like, so that's why I actually chose it for this card, because it just had that kind of flair. Actually, it even has kind of that a little flower in the center, although that will be covered up in a moment. So this card opens just a little bit differently than a usual card. Normally we have kind of a more portrait mode card that opens on the side, but I did it did it landscape mode, but with a side fold. So just a little different. So to do that fold, you do 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and you score in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. Whew. There we go. So just flatten that out, and then I'll take my Tombow and add it to the back of here. My fold is on the left side, so I'm just going to add that to the card base. And then we can take, I love this ribbon. This ribbon is Old Olive and Pretty Peacock reversible ribbon. And so I'm going to take this and just wrap it around my card. and I need to figure out how much I need. So when I do that, I kind of wrap around, and because I'm not tying a bow, I don't need a ton of extra length, but I do need a little bit of length to get that knot in there. So I just kind of hold it around and see. If I'm doing a lot of these cards, then I've got my cut. I know how long this ribbon needs to be, and now I'm going to cut a whole bunch of lengths of these ribbon so that I can just move a little bit more quickly than having to stop and cut each time. So then I'm going to come along here. Better go grab my locking tweezers. There they are. So I'll do my first knot. And then I'll just lock it down. Now this is going to give me a chance to arrange my ribbon. So I've got the olive side coming up here, but then on the top I have the peacock side. So if I want to do that, this ribbon is going to come over here like this. And then this one's going to come over here like that. So yeah, this one will work out. Sometimes I need to twist it a little bit while I'm doing the knot to get it to look right. If one is old olive on the top and one end is pretty peacock on the top, it will look fine too. There's just a subtle difference in the shade, so that's why I'm kind of doing it that way. So this one's going to go this way, this one's going to go over to the side, under, and then I'll bring this through, tie my little knot. So nice to have those locking tweezers to hold things down. I know I've talked about locking tweezers before. They are not a Stampin' Up product, and you can find them usually in the beading section of a craft store. They make my life a little bit easier because that way I don't have to use a thumb or use someone else's thumb. Let me just even this off. So doesn't that look nice with this cardstock? It just looks so pretty. I love this ribbon. Okay, so now I can take this layer and adhere it on. I did all the hard part already, right? The hard part was getting the stamping done, and that wasn't very hard at all. So I just want to make sure it's centered from top to bottom, and just maybe a little bit shorter of a distance on the side here. So just how it looks nice to you. I like to tie the ribbon first so that way I kind of have an idea of where this white piece should go. And then we can add a little bit of Tombow to the back of these florals, and I'll just add them on here. You don't have to place them where I place them, but I just kind of wanted them to come off and just kind of anchor the card a little bit. Then the last thing I want to do is add some little tiny embellishments, and I'm going to use these pearl jewels, or yeah, pearl basic jewels. And I've got my take your pick tool, and I'm going to use the larger of the pearls. And the take your pick tool, whoops, has a little bit of putty on the end, so it helps you pick up embellishments and then place them very easily. Once I get the embellishment in place, I do like to give it a little bit of a press to make sure it's in place. And then just add those like that. And there is the thank you card. So you can go from a very simple note card, and then you can create something that's a lot more elaborate, but not difficult at all. The embossing folder did the work back here, the ribbon, a couple of punch shapes, and a different color of card base. And then you have like 2 types of cards you can make. Now there are, in this stamp set right here, you've also got congrats, and you've got hello friend. I think hello friend would work nicely on here too. I didn't get a chance to play with it in terms of the little leaves right there, but I think it would work as well. Congrats, you might need to lengthen your piece a little bit or move it up and down a little bit to get it to fit. But I really love this stamp set. If you're looking for it in the catalog, it's on page 60. It matches the Seriously the Best project kit. These two are separate. So if you buy the project kit, it does not include the stamp set in it. So you can buy them separately. And that's what I did because I love big chunky words. They're so much fun to play with. Sometimes I put them inside the card and sometimes I stamp them on the outside of the card, but I like having big words because they fill up the card really quickly, especially when you are doing note cards. It's nice to have a big chunky thanks to put on a card. So let me pop over to the comments. Oh, here I am back again. Oh, you guys have been talking since I was talking on the side here. So let me see. Okay, so Cindy says we're hunkering at home, rearrange craft area 6 times. Yeah, so there are some positives to getting to spend some time at home. We're always so busy running around and doing everything that we push off cleaning things up to the last minute. I actually have done the same over this last week. I have gone through and tidied up, thrown stuff away that I wasn't using anymore. I gave some things away, things that I could move out of my craft room. I try to do that. It feels so good to do that. And I know I have a lot more to do, like just in general of my house. So yeah, let's use this time. And we can use it in a positive way, right? Um, and Karen says we are over 65 and are isolated. Yeah, and canceling appointments. And she'll have fun because she has stamps, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm over 50, and not that I'm in the highest risk category, but we do want to help others not catch it. Like if I'm out in the community and I pick this up, I could give it to someone else. Although I have to say, I work from home, so usually the two places I go to are the post office and the grocery store. But still, like I feel lucky, fortunate right now that I do work from home. My husband has the office next door, and he's working from home too now. So I have a new office buddy, which actually has worked out quite nicely because I get to see him. We just had lunch together, so it's kind of a cool thing, right? So, uh, thank you, Karen. I'm glad you like the colors of the card. Um, oh, and Cindy says she's still learning to play with the set. Yeah, I like this set with other things. I know you could stamp that big flourish right in the center and just put all the little flowers around. Um, Sometimes when I have difficulty with a stamp set, um, I go to Pinterest and I go and I look at what everyone else has done. Not so I can, okay, because I'm a designer, I try not to copy other people, but you certainly can. Like, no one says you can't copy, but it's great for inspiration because someone will have given you a layout, someone will show you how to set up the flowers so you don't have to spend time trying to come up with arrangements. Pinterest is absolutely fabulous for that. So if you're stuck, like go over there and have a look. And I always say don't reinvent the wheel. I'm more of a designer, and because I want to teach you new things, so I try not to. I really try hard not. I try to be inspired by other people, but I don't necessarily want to copy them because I want to bring you something new that you can use. But I have had times where I've picked up a stamp set that I thought I knew what I was going to do with it, and then I just like draw a blank. And then just being able to like spend like a few minutes just looking to see quickly how other people have used it, it inspires me, and then it helps my creative juices to start flowing. All right, okay. So, oh, hello, Bev. I'm so glad you joined me. Um, so Cindy says she's getting ready to place a big stamp order before the end of the month. Yes, now is a good time to place a big stamp order because guess what? We get celebration rewards, right? So for every $50 and $100 you spend, you get to choose a product, and that ends March 31st. So we've got like 2 weeks left of this promotion, and it's nice to get those freebies when you're placing an order. So yeah, I that would definitely and I will probably be placing an order the last day of the month too. Uh, Marianne says, "Don't tell my boss. I'm teleworking through this mess and took a late lunch to watch." Oh, she needs a smile. Well, I'm glad you joined us. And just because we work from home doesn't mean that we shouldn't take breaks and have lunch, and make sure, since you're staying at home more, that you get up and move around. My husband and I, we walk every morning, and we'll go for an afternoon walk too. Now, of course, we're trying to keep our distance from other people. We're not like socializing with them on the walk. We are purely just walking and maintaining distance. If you don't have that, though, there have been times when I haven't been able to walk outside, but you can find a place. Most places have, like, do you have a basement? You could walk around in there. I've done laps before around the staircase when we lived in Tennessee. We had a staircase in the middle of the house, and when it was raining really badly, I'd like walk in one direction for 5 minutes and then turn around and walk in the other direction for 5 minutes. Get up and walk and move. You'll feel much better. When we get some exercise, it makes our bodies feel better. We've started also to do some stretching in the morning. I call it yoga light. There's like some stretching, but also maybe some little yoga poses, that because there's a lot of crossover. And I tell you, I feel like so much better, even though I'm totally not a yoga person, because I'm not very flexible. And so I always like, well, I hate, not being able to like be good at something. But I'll tell you, it's really good to do that deep breathing and stuff. So keep your health in mind, do things that make you feel good while we're not able to go out as much. So, okay, let me keep going through the comments. Oh, yeah, Cindy said you could put the congrats on an angle. Yes, that's a good idea. You could absolutely do that. See, I learned from you guys too. Cindy found colors and paper from 2008. Yeah, we'll probably find a lot of things that we tucked in our corner. Oh, one thing that I do need to find, I need to find my layering circles. I have a project in mind for them, and they are just gone. Like, I cannot find. That's one of the reasons I was cleaning up, and I cannot find them. And I'm worried that they may have tipped into the garbage while I wasn't looking. I have no clue. I usually don't lose things this badly, but they've been gone now for all weekend, and I'm so tearing my hair out. So I'm probably going to have to order them tomorrow. I just was too busy this morning to order them. But I'm like, I think I just need to place an order to get a package of those layering circles. Okay. Mary Kay is from Maryland, and she's spending her time working on crafts. Great. And she doesn't mind being in the house as long as she has something to work on. I'm going to be 70, so yeah, you're definitely considered higher risk. So you want to make sure that you distance yourself for now, and this too shall pass. We'll get through this, and it's really helpful right now to have a hobby, to take your mind off things. Hopefully, if you want to, you can still pop something in the mail. I don't know how your mail situation works where you live, but just enjoy, being able to spend some time at home, and hopefully it won't last super long. Okay. Cindy says she has stamp things stored in so many places that making cards becomes an aerobic exercise. That's funny. Yeah, I have all my retired stuff downstairs. So I only work with my current stuff. I think that really helps in terms of, not getting into things. And then I have a big BOGO sale every August, and then I pull up my retired things and I pass them on to people who can use them. There are a lot of people who are just getting into the hobby that need stamping supplies, so the BOGO sale is always a great time for people to pick things up. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for making my afternoon so bright. I usually come to you in the morning, and tomorrow morning I will be doing a Facebook Live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook business page. My blog down below, it's cubiesquest.com. If you need any of the links to my blog, and that will have a link to my Facebook page as well, then you can go in and join me tomorrow. And then later this week, I'm going to be trying to come to you more often. It will probably be mostly from YouTube, and hopefully at 10 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Time. That's kind of my standard go-to time. So I do have a project already prepared for Wednesday. So Tuesday on Facebook, my Facebook business page. Wednesday I'll be on YouTube, and then I haven't planned beyond that, but I'm gonna try to come more often, just so we can hang out and not be so lonely, and connect with each other, right? So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.